All right, welcome to our deals of the week this week. And you can probably see on the screen here that we've got an $8.2 million listing. I'm not highlighting this one as deal of the week this week, but I just wanted to show you how not immune luxury real estate is. A lot of people think that at the super high end that people are less price sensitive when it comes to real estate, and that's just not the case. So you can already see right here that this house has had an $800,000 price drop, and it's a beautiful house. Let me just show you a couple of pictures real quick because it's super cool. I mean, this is literally on Bel Air Beach. Your backyard is a pool, and then you're on the beach. I mean, you can't beat it. You know, the house is probably not what they would build. It's probably not. Definitely not what they would build today. And I'll just show you a couple of pictures. Like, I mean, even you can tell by the pool, it's kind of a regular pool that you almost would see in a regular house's backyard. But you just obviously you can't beat the location and the interior of the house. I mean, it's a little bit dated. I'm not going to lie. It's a beautiful house. I would imagine if somebody was going to buy it at this price point, they would probably do some remodeling. They might even tear it down and build something new. But the point I'm making here is that even at the super high end, the top 0.1%, and that's really where this house is not immune to price drops. So we see there that there was an $800,000 price drop. And I just want to kind of put a finer point on this. It shows here that the house went on the market on December 15th at 9 million, and it dropped essentially 10% down to 8.2 million. But that doesn't really tell the whole story. So I just want to show you what was on the MLS. Hopefully we'll be able to enlarge this so you can see it a little bit more. This house originally went on the market in June of 2024 for almost $12 million. And so we were, kind of at the tail end of the run up, probably had already peaked at this point, I would say. And then they kept it on the market for 6 months without a price drop. And then they went back on at 9 million. So at some point, the sellers of this house believed that they could get 12 million, waited 6 months, took it off, and then almost exactly a year later, put it up for 3 million under that, and now they're at 8.2. So we're talking a nearly $4 million. I mean, it sounds crazy to even throw those numbers around, but nearly a $4 million price drop. That's 30 something percent on a giant ultra luxury situation. I mean, the house I would argue is not like ultra luxury. It's not because it's an older house, but the location is. So I don't know. Maybe somebody will buy it for a price lower than this and build a new house or remodel or whatever. But I just thought that was interesting. And there's also one other situation I want to show you too before we get started on our two awesome deals of the week. Okay, so on this one, I want to get your opinion. Please, please, please drop a comment and let me know what you think about this, because I'm always looking for advice. I like to learn not only from other agents, but also from my clients and from whomever I can learn when it comes to especially pricing real estate. Because as a realtor, try to come up with a decent price for a house, but it's really the market that's going to dictate it. You guys are the market out there. So I want you to take a look at this situation here. This is a nice condo. I think it's a 55 plus, and we see a $65,000 price drop. Now, look at this number, 329.9 for 1,500 square feet. That's 211 a square foot. So on the surface, this looks awesome, right? So let's go to all of the price action here, because I want you to get a feel for what's going on. And this is very interesting, and I'm not being critical of it. It's not something that I've ever done myself or thought to do, but I mean, look at this. I'm scrolling through. Look at all of this. So now we're just back to 2025. So let's go to, I want to see when the last time it sold. Okay, so they started looking to sell this house back in December of 2024, so a year and a few months ago, and they started at 395. I'm not going to go through all of these, but you can see these are all price changes, right? And you'd think they would come off this 395 mark, which they dropped to 389, then back up to 395, back down, down, down. Whoa, now we're back up to 395, which was the original price, right? So 4 months later, they decide, having not sold the house or the condo, to go back to the original price. It goes pending. They drop it again. It goes pending at 349. So we assume that the offer was somewhere in that neighborhood. It doesn't happen. What do? They put it back on the market at 395. Okay, so I mean, this is just fascinating to me. So they're back on the market at 395, back down to 349, 349, 359, 395. They're just bouncing around. Then they say, what the heck, let's go even higher. They go pending again at 349. I don't understand this at all. They go just like down here. They went pending at 349. The deal apparently falls through. They bumped up to 395. Some months, a couple months later, they do the same thing. They're down to 349. It goes pending. I don't know. This doesn't make any sense either. It goes pending in July, and then it's back on the market in October. I guess the deal fell through, but at a much higher price. And then it says price change here, but this is the same situation. So down to 349, and then what the heck? Up to 429. Now this is last fall. Remember, and real estate's not doing that great at this point. So they're back up to 429, and then I'm not going to go through all these. This is just fascinating to me. Just kept bouncing around, changing prices up, down, got down to 321, 329 at one point. A month later, they, what the heck, bump it up to 430, back to 329, up to 430, back down to 329. So the question is, and I'm begging you to drop a comment on this, does this look strange to you? Would you say, oh, there's an opportunity to buy here? Or does this strike you as kind of odd? I don't know. Maybe it's genius. I don't know. I think it's pretty wild. Drop a comment. Let me know. I've never seen anything like this. There's dozens of price changes over the course of a year and a half, and the place is still on the market. Kudos for the effort. I hope it pays off. I just don't know if it will. So let's jump into our first house. All right, let's jump into our first house here. And this house is in the Eagle Manor neighborhood. And I'm going to tell you right now, this may be the best deal that I've seen since I started doing these videos. I don't want to, be over the top in my compliments for this house at this price in this neighborhood. But if you are looking for something in the 3242, 1800-ish square feet, that is a deal. I am telling you, this is a deal. So if you're not sure where Eagle Manor is, it's a great neighborhood. In fact, I sold a house one street over from here about a year and a half ago. So just to give you an idea, as I've marked, this is downtown St. Pete, and this is the neighborhood here. So you have very quick access to all of the beaches along here. You're in a no flood zone. There are some parks on the water over here, sort of in the Jungle Terrace area. So it's really a nice location. Beautiful neighborhood, a lot of houses of similar size and style and quality. So you can feel, this is not the cheapest house in the best neighborhood, which is a good rule to follow, but it is a very nice house in a very nice neighborhood. So let's just look at the price action first, because this is fascinating to me. These guys went on the market just a few weeks ago on January, or actually on, well, let me expand this a little bit, because I think there's a little more to this. So they went on the market starting last May, right? So here we are, last May for $699. The house was sold in 2024, so just a year and a few months before, for $592. So they're trying to make a couple of bucks out of here, right? Pretty standard stuff. And then we follow the path, and we see at $650 they went pending. So we assume that that pending price was, who knows, could have been $630, $640. It wasn't on the market that long, so we're going to assume it was pretty close, and they were pretty hopeful at that point. So they took it off market, they put it back on, $649 down to $639, down to $599. Took it off the market for a minute, probably expired at that point, put it back on, and then a couple more price drops, and we're at $550,000, $293 per square foot. And wait till you see this house. I'm telling you, you're going to love it. The pictures in this particular style of house, very, very common. In fact, the house that I sold, that's one street over, is the sort of same setup with the semicircular driveway and the garage over here. So let's just bounce through the pictures. I mean, gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. Really well maintained. This is a nice touch you don't see very often. The darker paint on the ceiling, it really frames the room, gives it a nice classy look. It's got a nice fireplace. dining area, nice open kitchen. Those look like custom cabinets to me. Very well done. This is a very modern, classy looking house. Plenty of room. As I always say, look for they call them mullions. It's the sort of the divider and the windows. When they're that thick, that usually tells you that that's impact windows, which is for a house this big, maybe $30,000 upgrade, maybe even more. And you can tell this is a fairly recent renovation. Somebody had a real nice design touch. Very rarely do you see two different tiles in a shower. You got the walls, the side walls, this like sort of starburst looking tile, and then this great gray tile here with the green cabinet. It all works for me. Looks like it was very well done. Nice big primary. I mean, big primary. It's not huge. Remember these houses that were built in the 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s, the primary was pretty small. Not crazy about that. It looks glass and it's a barn door, so that's a that's a negative for me, but I would just put another door on there. I mean, this looks like a hotel, bathroom almost. Very nice, very well done. I mean, I say there's nothing wrong. I haven't looked at all of the details, but it's a really, really nice looking house. And this was the outside at one point. I'm sure there were sliders here and they've enclosed it. You can usually tell if you look at about this level, and in this case you can see, I don't know what they did, they trimmed it out there, but that probably would have been concrete block all the way down, right? And then there would have been screen above this. And then usually you can also tell if it's been an addition, if it was a Florida room, when you see a slope to that ceiling, because you can see the distance between the door and the ceiling here. You can tell this goes down. Inside of a house, the ceiling is either going to be level or you're going to have a cathedral or vaulted action. But this would have been a Florida room at some point that they enclosed. But they've got AC in there. They were able to get the ducts over here, so that room's cooled, so you get a little extra space. So this house was probably around 1,500 square foot when it was built. So really nice. Backyard, not, I say not great. Could use some work, obviously. A little bit lacking in the landscaping department. So the garage, it's full 2-car garage. So, I mean, drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this one. I'd be surprised if this house lasts another week or two. I think it's just too good to pass up. If you're looking for something, you get a 4th bedroom, you get good square footage, you're under $300 a square foot. This is a great neighborhood over there. It is in the non-flood zone. You're minutes to the beaches, 2024 roof. Those bathrooms were, and the kitchen was renovated 2023, so that's pretty new. They did a custom closet. This was when these people bought the house, all this stuff had been done. So this current owner, I don't think, did anything. But this is all recent stuff. 2023 AC, updated electrical panel. That's awesome. I don't think this house needs anything. It's a 1959 ranch block house. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Or get in touch. I'm telling you, if you're looking for a house of this size, almost 1,900 square feet in a great neighborhood, close to the mall, beaches, 15, 20 minutes downtown, this could be the one. Let me know. And now let's take a look at house number 2. All right, let's take a look at house number 2 now. At first glance, you might not like this house, but let me explain it. And I think that you're going to see a lot of value here. Now, obviously, one of the things we like to see is that big fat price drop, which we have here. And this shows that it's in the Allendale neighborhood, which is a wonderful neighborhood. There is one downside, and if you know St. Pete, you'll get used to this. The major streets, and 30th is kind of a busy street. People are still paying a premium to get into neighborhoods like this. So they've only been on the market a little bit less than a month. They went at $695. Kudos to the listing agent, as whenever I see this, and the seller who put it up for what I thought would, I mean, look at this price, $299. I think that's where I would have priced this house, to be honest with you. $299. They obviously didn't get enough action. A couple weeks later, 50 grand off, and another 30 grand off of that. We're down to $619 on this house, which is $266 a square foot. I mean, it's a crazy number to me. From the outside, the house doesn't look all that great. I'll be honest with you. It looks, the yard is not great. It's got a carport here. I think it could use a little TLC. I think the I think just landscaping will make it look much nicer. I'm not sure if the paint would need to be redone or not, but big two-car carport, and you see here we've got 2 AC units here. Don't like them in the front of the house, obviously, but that's where they are. But you look inside. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. It looks like a model home. I mean, beautiful floors. Looks like it's very well taken care of. I'm assuming this is, I don't know if this is staged or these people just have, you know, really, really great taste. But this is a beautiful layout, big open living area. I didn't tell you about this part either, which now you can see. You know, a lot of these houses had sort of galley kitchens, and this is not terribly unusual for the area, that the kitchen is a step down, these sort of, you know, 70s, I don't know, kind of like Brady Bunch style. They're almost like tri-level houses where you go down a little bit, main living area, and then you go up a little bit, which I think is kind of cool. Obviously, if you got mobility issues, this doesn't work for you. But let's keep rolling through the pictures because I love this house. I absolutely love it. Laundry room there, shower. It's not like a yesterday renovation, but it looks fairly recent. This is a split unit AC. So assuming this is the primary, you have a separate AC for your primary, which is nice for sleeping. I mean, look at the size of this primary suite. Custom closets in there. I'm not sure what they consider this, other than a pretty cool room with a fireplace and these interesting little shutters here. And you can see by the sloped roof, this is may not have been living space originally, although it looks like it's on the second level. It's hard to get a feel for this house. These houses, the layouts are interesting to say the least, but looks like it's all very well taken care of. Lots of angles. If you dig that kind of thing, and I do, lots of angles, not alleys, hallways, you know, kind of surprise rooms and stairs. And then, you know, as a bonus, you get this really nice looking pool here. And obviously there's a spa over here, maybe a jacuzzi. I mean, this house is gorgeous for the price. It's got a little movie screen set up out here. I mean, this is like a little sloppy with all the electrical work here and like sort of the panel here. I don't know what you could do. I'm sure something could be built. They kind of did build something here to cover some of that up. And there's that little split unit. It looks a little messy in the picture. It's probably not as bad in real life, although it does look like it could use some paint. And there is the layout, 2,100 square feet. I mean, this house is absolutely gorgeous. It's in a great neighborhood. It has a 10-year roof, so you should be good for probably another decade. The AC units are a little bit newer. I'm going to go on this one. I hate to even put a price target on it because I like it at this price, but I would put a price target, not 266 a square feet, but 250 a square foot. If we could get to 581 on this house and you want to live in this area, I think this is an absolute winner. If you look at the location of this, I mean, you really can't beat it. You can get almost anywhere quickly. You know, here's where you are. So you're literally 7 minutes to downtown. You can see down here, maybe 20 minutes to the beaches. Jump on the interstate, you're over to Tampa in 45 minutes. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. I know from the outside, the house doesn't look perfect for a house with a 6 handle on it, but the location is unbelievable. I think if you were in the 580, 590, 595 range, it doesn't look like it needs that much work. This is an absolute winner. Let me know your thoughts. Those were our 2 houses for this week, plus a little extra. My name is Steve Reynolds. I'm a realtor here in St. Pete. If you're looking to buy or sell anywhere in the Bay Area, shoot me a text, give me a call, send me an email. I would love to help you out, and I will see you next time.